Welcome. How's everyone? Yeah? Okay. Good? Good? Good weekend?
Hey Charlie, that's the heckler seat, just so you know. So.
Oh, I can do it.
I can handle hecklers too. So
Let's go.
I ain't scared.
I freed that up, so it's all up to you today.
How's the weekend? Good? Yeah? We have any wins? Yeah? What?
Squatters.
Good squat. Oh, that's right. What happened there?
One in the vacant house and decided to live there for a while.
Squatted.
And they showed up the day, while they were there, and the people showed up to do their inspection, like, we got a lot of stuff.
No kidding. Wow.
Haven't had that for a while.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Well, that's interesting. Morning, Mike. Come on in, bud. Just waiting for you. Right here at the front. Everybody is welcome, Mr. Knight. Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody sell something? Yeah, Ron, you got something?
Well, we got, what's nice is we have probably today going to go under contract with one of our agents here.
Cool.
And without ever putting the sign up, so those are good.
Still.
Those are good. And the other one is we got a listing to buy yesterday.
Perfect.
So it's going good.
Hey, business is happening. Love it.
It is.
How about you guys over here on the right, my right, your left?
New builds.
New builds. Like crazy?
Yeah, forget
Yeah.
that bidding war shit.
Yes, what she said is forget the bidding war stuff, in case you didn't hear.
That's not what she said.
Well,
It was Laura Lopez.
Spanish for stuff. Yeah. Good, yeah. Hey guys, new construction. Yeah, Glenn?
I got a buyer listing agreement signed with a cash buyer for probably anything under $250.
If anybody's got anything under 250, Glenn's your man.
Northern Thornton City, right?
What is it?
Northern Thornton.
Northern Thornton, yeah.
Brighton.
Yeah.
Loch Louis.
Yeah.
Loch Louis, there's a place.
We went to Aurora Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, guys, today, let me actually do this. Anybody want to recap? Did last week we talked a little bit more about the S curve and climbing, try to become the expert? Did anybody do anything with that? If you didn't, it's okay. I'm not doing it for my benefit. I'm doing it for yours, so it doesn't hurt my feelers.
I actually used it in a conversation.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And?
Just sharing information, kind of what we talked about, be the expert, and
Okay.
had some people that, they engaged with the real estate market and whatnot. And so I shared, kind of the competency of the S-curve and how things are being challenged in today's world. You have to think out of the box. And if you don't, you get left behind.
Pretty much.
So, and then, so that started a whole conversation into the millennials
Okay.
and kind of that mindset. And so it was very nice. It was probably a half-hour conversation that was just stimulated by some of what we've gone through.
Love it. Awesome. Right on. It's good. What about the numbers that we went over in team meeting? Everybody utilize that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? I know you, so I'm pointing at you, Diana. In the team meeting, I remember we were talking about how much it's costing, for buyer's agents, and then you and Gay looked at each other. You must have been thinking about the exact same person or something like that.
Oh, no, it was at an open house, actually.
It was open house? Okay, awesome. Yeah. David, I saw your hand.
Yeah, so I had my open house in Arvada, and somebody asked, how much is this market appraising right now? And I said, $114.25 a day.
Okay.
And I said it was 24 cents, but it went up to 25.
Awesome. Glenn.
I'm working on a script using that because I've got an attorney that's putting me on for 3 months, and I'm basically going to ask him, now that I've given you this information, what are you going to do to make an extra $10,000 or $12,000 in the next 3 months before you buy?
Yeah.
What can you do to increase your business that much?
That's a great question.
That you've not already got in the plan.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the script I'm working on for him for tomorrow.
Awesome. That's great. Bob?
I have a buyer in Hilltop, Bonnie Gray, and I was able to give him numbers and stuff, and he was like, well, I think I want Bonnie Gray though, because it just looks over a period of time that it's held its market better.
Sure.
So, but he's from California, and he's ready to go.
Money ain't no thing if you're from California, I guess. Fine, 28.9% increase. So, well, awesome, guys. So today, I'm glad to see we're implementing some of our things, what we're doing. I actually am not going to talk at all about real estate today. Is that okay? Do I have your permission to do that?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Today is about, man, I'm feeling a lot of stuff. Partly I had a really close friend, my best friend, his father-in-law passed away. And so I'm just reminded how life is so short. I want to do some personal development with you guys today, coach you for the next hour. And it does. I'm going to hope to put a nice pretty bow at the end of it that you can actually implement it into your business. Is that okay?
Yes.
Man, it's like everybody's dying this week, it seems. Prince died, you know? Like, I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff, lots of famous people, but part of the reason why I wanted to go here is really, there's what we have at this market center, it's a culture. And actually, Carrie had sent me a really, really interesting article. I want to talk about our culture today as the collective, but also the individual aspect that you guys bring. Okay? Is that okay? So it's not, look, here, you want to know about real estate? Go sell something today. Is that all right? Just do that and you're going to be fine. Now, this is hopefully going to help you. And what my goal is that it creates some capacity for you to really just find your rhythm as a business person, as an entrepreneur, and really find your flow so that you can attract the things in your life that you want to attract. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I'm very reflective today, and so this might feel weird. I even brought my guitar, and there's a reason why. All right, so this is a little vulnerable for me to be up here, but there's a reason why. Okay, so today I want to ask you guys, how important is culture? First of all, what is culture? What does that mean? When you think of culture, and I'm talking here, but like worldwide, what does that mean? What do you think of when you think of culture?
Attitude, mindset.
Okay, I heard traditions over here.
I think it's historic based.
Historical aspects, sure. What else? What defines a culture? What are things? What are aspects?
The group of people doing or believing in similar things or same things.
Okay, so similarities, sure. Similarities. You know it's hard to spell when you're standing up here. What's that?
Morals.
Morals, sure. Morals and ethics. Okay. Values falls under traditions. Education, sure.
Probably laws.
Laws, great. What about the arts? Yeah? Yeah? Different traditions or cultures have different appreciations for different things. Arts, music, cinema, all that stuff, right? Okay, so we know what culture is. So anybody read the Stanford Business Journal? Okay, every day? Yeah. Of course you do, David. You guys understand Stanford is like the most prestigious university in this entire nation. Like, that's the one that their acceptance level, and to try to get into Stanford, it's harder than that to get into Stanford than it is to MIT. Okay? So Stanford University just recently, April 21st, like 4 days ago, put out a article, I'm going to send it to you guys, about Keller Williams culture. Really interesting when the most prestigious university in America actually observes our culture. And guys, what we are is we're an independent franchise. So we're a microcosm of the macro aspect. We're one dot on the organizational chart of all works together. So I want to read a few things, and then I want to talk about our culture here in our market center and how it actually relates to you as personal business owners and entrepreneurs. Okay? So they are talking about how there's 139,000 agents in 780 market centers globally. This is where we're at today as of April 21st. That's a lot of people. So we are a collective group of individuals that adhere to a fairly common theme, a common strain within the macrocosm of real estate, the industry, okay? So the leaders of Keller Williams attribute the company's success to the combination of an economic model built on economies of scale and a cultural model that emphasizes profit sharing, interdependency, and success through the efforts of others. Would you not agree? Yeah? Does everybody understand what interdependency means? Yes? Okay, great. Are you unclear? Good? All right, okay. This is interactive today, okay? So they believe the focus on culture helps resolve disputes by creating common expectations and provides a strong emotional connection to the company, which encourages retention, right? Does everybody want to wake up and like, I hate going here? No, nobody does, right? Nobody want to wake up and be like, man, I wish I was managed today. Yes! No, we want to be led. We want to feel like we're going towards something as a collective, as the whole. So these aspects, these observation about how important the culture is, really comes down to this, guys. It's not necessarily a science, but an art. Okay? Business is an art. It's a dance. You can't just say the mathematical formula of this is going to give you this. Really, yes. Okay, if I want to make $1 million, I need to make $2,733.76 a day. If I can figure that out and how to do that and collect it all into my bucket, I'll make $1 million. But the reality of what we do culturally as a collective, as a whole, is more of an art. And why we're talking about this today is partly because the more we understand our place in this culture here at the I-70 frontage road in Wheat Ridge, Arvada, we'll understand the impact we're going to have out there. So that's what I want you to leave with today, is where the flip do I fit? And I'm going to try to make that all make sense with my guitar. So just hang tight, all right? So a few other things. The impact about culture is, how do you view our culture? I want to hear from you. How do you view our culture here in this market center? Why are you here?
I think the one I like the best, I call them Kellerisms,
Okay.
is we come from contribution.
Awesome. What does that mean? How do you view our culture? Is what I want to know. I want to know specifically. What is it about this place?
Transparency.
Transparency. Okay. Why is that important to you, Carrie?
It's relatable. It makes it, you don't feel like you're someone who's a secret that you're missing out on, that you can't perform, it's just kind of like we're all in this together, and
Okay.
we all have the same exact tools and resources.
And that creates in you a high level of security, of understanding,
Trust.
trust. Okay. What else?
Collaborative.
Pardon me?
Collaborative.
Collaborative. Why is that important to you, Mark?
Well, because it doesn't matter how smart you are, you're always smarter with the collective genius of a group. And there's always someone here who has information that I don't have that can help me. And
Okay.
vice versa.
What's that? No, it's okay. I'm not afraid. What'd you say?
So we're like the board.
The Borg. Anybody know what the Borg is?
Yeah.
It's from Star Trek. They're cyborgs that they were like geniuses, right? Pretty much. Yeah.
So they all shared this information.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Awesome.
I like the mindset. There's a whole mindset here, which is a position of gratitude, service, giving, family. And I think that when I came, it wasn't something that you could just pin down. But when I came in and I walked through and I met the people, just could feel it. And I thought they're like-minded. And I thought I can feel it, I know it, and that's what really, served for me.
Awesome.
And synergy goes along with
Synergy?
that. That's what
Love it.
I didn't have any of that in my own office for years. And that's what hit me when I first came here, and Rick told me to come here.
So Lonely Realtor Island wasn't as fun as you thought it would be.
That's why I got up every day at 4 and went to the office before anybody else.
So you didn't have to talk to anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, we're,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kath?
That's what I was gonna say, the positive energy here
Okay.
is, something I wanna contribute to, it creates cohesion. I don't find that negative worm trying to spread its, domain.
Yeah.
It's just positive, and people have great energy, and I don't know how to put that into one word, but it is a feeling you get
Yeah.
when you all.
James?
Belief in each other. I think that's a big thing. Everybody believes that everyone can succeed in this.
Love it. Are we a family business?
Yes.
We are?
I think so.
Are we all related?
No.
So how are we a family business?
Well, I say we're family because, let's say Bob has a success, it's my success.
Yeah. But are we related? See, who's been involved with family businesses? You ever? Yeah, me too. You ever discovered that like the caring stops where the bloodline ends? Ever noticed that? Right? So the reality of it is we're not a family business. But you know what we are? We're a business family. See, first and foremost, we cannot operate together if we don't make money. If we have, this is not we're not a nonprofit. This is not a charity. Okay, let me make that real clear. We have to profit. But what we get to do is once we get to that place where we're operating at a high level to generate resources, there is a collective aspect and energy that we share that really binds us together as a family, right? When we hear of things that happen, not just here locally, but on a global scale within our Keller Williams Market Centers, we bind together, that does create a sense of family. We're not a family business, we're a business family. And that's the vision I have, is that we grow, because we have capacity for more. All right? Glenn?
To share to that, most people don't know that the average real estate brokerage in North America is 40 agents. And the average Keller Williams Market Center is 136 agents.
We're above average, yes.
And what that allows everybody to do more. Because what happens is, many of the other brokerages is the agents will grow to the limit of their leader.
Yeah.
Because there's no interdependency among other market centers.
Yeah.
Where we have 136,000 agents to share knowledge, experience, and business with. So
Yeah.
it's huge. It is the board.
Guys, here's the deal. The dependent model, okay, looks like this. You've got broker, and then you've got agent, right? Maybe one day, if you're awesome enough, you could be the managing broker. But that's what it looks like. Yeah.
You just gotta answer your phone.
That's right. Then you have the independent model, and you're just over here by yourself, okay? Agent. Lonely Agent Island. Within the interdependency, there is this connectivity that happens, right? Everybody, it's an open platform. It's no different than ISIS. And here's what I mean by that. You chop off one of the ISIS heads, somebody else pops up. It's the same thing with the Navajo Indians and how they're made. I'm going somewhere with this. It's the same thing like a starfish. Okay? You can chop off a starfish appendage, it'll still function. Let me ask you this. Who's the president of the internet? And don't say Al Gore.
Nobody.
That was the first question they asked when they were trying to create the funding to develop the infrastructure. Well, who's going to be the president? I don't know. It's an open platform. It's an open source, right? Okay? Anybody read The Starfish and the Spider? One of the best leadership books you'll ever read. Basically what happens, they're comparing the starfish and the spider. You chop off one, you got the brain, the spider brain. You chop off a leg, what happens to the spider? Who doesn't have who's never pulled daddy long legs apart? You guys had terrible
Julie.
It doesn't know how to function. You lose one arm, right? See, that's that's top-down centralized management. In this interdependency, it's decentralized. Everybody plays a part in contribution to the culture, okay? So there's that collective aspect within inside of Keller Williams and inside the market center that we're creating. But like I said, I want to go to where you matter, and this is what we'll get there, okay? I want to read a few little stats just about the survey that Stanford did. They said almost 96% agree or strongly agree that the culture of KW is unique among large real estate agencies. Who's never been anywhere else but Keller Williams? Guys, the grass is green where you water it. It's not always greener on the other side, okay? I'm just going to say that. However, 96% also agree or strongly agree that the company's culture is very important in accounting for its success. Only 1% disagreed. And then they left and went somewhere else, I guess. 92% believe that it's the best real estate agency to work for in their area, and 91% are extremely likely to recommend the company as a workplace to a close personal friend. The top 3 respondents claim to have originally joined the company include its educational opportunities, its culture, and compensation structure. Culture, however, is by far the most frequently cited reasons why associates stay. Can you pull that up?
Where'd you get that quote? That was from the Stanford.
And I'll put this out. This is the first one. Can you? Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So we were talking about to what extent do the following words or phrases accurately describe the culture of Keller Williams. So you guys threw all this stuff in here. You know what was really interesting to me? How much of this, nobody mentioned money? Because is it about the money? Now, do we make good money? Absolutely. In fact, KW outperforms GCI. Look, if people are making money, they stay. I get that. We're a business first. But I love the fact that the people in this room didn't even mention it. It's because you see something bigger. So, these are the words or phrases accurately describe the culture of Keller Williams. Ethical, 82%, 80, what do you think? About 85%. Help me in a time of need. Family-like culture. Does the right thing. Fair. Team-oriented. Cares about my personal success. Guys, I care that you succeed. I really, really, really do. Results-oriented. Open to new ideas. Process-oriented. Fast-paced. Efficient. Flexible. Tolerant. Now, less than about 10% bureaucratic. Cares more about profit than people. Rigid. What strikes you out of that list? Help in a time of need. Yeah. You guys remember that in Ohio, or was it Iowa or Ohio? Iowa, where our KW KW Cares in Des Moines. That's right. So basically, does everybody know that story? Yeah. All right. So real quick, what happened was there was a brokerage in town that would not pay Keller Williams agents if there was a co-op. They were trying to run them out of town. So they heard about it at about 5 years ago or so, I think. Yeah, at Mega Camp or something, it was brought up. So basically what happened is KW Cares, our people, 130 some odd thousand, would contribute towards the Des Moines aspect of those people, and they never lost a single commission in that whole town. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Is that fight over?
It is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, way over. Okay. What else? What else hits you?
Does the right thing.
Does the right thing? Love it. Trip?
About less than 10% of the people said those bottom 3, and all those stats you were reading earlier, about 1 out of 10 people were leaving Keller Williams, and it looks like those little friends.
Yeah. I guess they wanted bureaucracy. I guess they really truly cared more about the money, and apparently were not flexible enough. Would that say?
And that's kind of the main culture of a lot of other
brokerages.
Sure. Bottom 3.
Yeah, right. Guys, I care about you more than I do about your performance. Right? Because at the end of the day, numbers will never save you, but people will. Right? Okay? Try working that with your database of people. See how well that goes for you. Okay? So the next slide, real quick. What are the reasons you originally joined Keller Williams? Before we jump into that, what about you guys? Why'd you join? Why are you here? It's Monday at 8:55. You could be at the gym, somewhere else. Why are you here?
I knew you were gonna be here.
Well, after I came towards the place, I went home to my family and I said, hey, I've worked at a lot of different places. This is the first place I've been where people are like me.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah, that's good. James?
You know, I went to the real estate school here when it was offered here back in October, and it really was the culture that kind of made me want, once I got my license, to come back here. Just the feeling when I was in the class, the help that I got, all of that, it was just that teamwork environment.
Love it. It's awesome. Why are you here, Mike?
Support. When it was presented to me originally, it was about education and support technology. It's just came from just a really small company, so never saw each other, never grew from hanging out with each other that much.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Cool. So, education is right as high up there as it is culture. Okay? And I'm doing this because I want to emphasize the point that yes, as the collective, what you guys bring makes this place so much better. Because if it's on my shoulders, listen, I could make a whole lot more money doing other things. I am not here to put the yoke on and to pull this place. It's you guys. It's all of us working together. Okay? It burns me. It'll burn me out. I don't want to get to that place. And I want to see everybody understand is that, guys, this is the biggest thing that we have, and it's an intangible. What does that mean to be a part of our culture? It's so hard to describe it to the outside, right? But when people come in, it's like, oh, I've been looking for this my whole life, right? Those that are in the industry, and even those that aren't even in the industry. I've had business owners come in here and be like, God, what is up with you people? We're just awesome. I don't know. Right? I mean, I don't know. But you know what I've discovered at the end of the day? It's the same thing you guys do with your clients. We sell a feeling. It's that feeling of like, okay, there's hope. Like we can actually do this. I have met some unbelievably incompetent agents who kill it. And I'm like, how the heck do you make money? Right? If you can make money, guys, I'm meaning you, the collective incompetency that's out there, you guys can make money in this business, all right? Because you're that much better. So education culture, it's funny, compensation doesn't even go halfway. Interesting. The business models, do the models overwhelm you sometimes? That's okay. That's fine. You don't have to have $1 million business. It's okay. Growth and success of KW, like really that brand affiliation, it's really not that important. Whereas in the independent world and in the dependent model, that's the whole crux. That's their biggest value proposition. Okay? But the reason why people have stayed, the retention, is because of the culture. Really, really interesting. So here's a question. Does a company with a strong business model perform better if it has a strong culture?
Yes.
Stanford figured it out, right? Interesting. How about this? What's the cost of a strong culture? What's the cost of a weak culture?
Demise.
Eventual downfall. Absolutely. Okay, how about this one? How important is that you guys feel that the company, meaning you guys, care about them personally and professionally? How important is that? What role does leadership play in shaping culture? But guys, what's funny is that I respond to where you're at. See, if you're focused and you're driven and you want to see big things, then it causes me to have to like really dig deep and go to another level. So this is two-way street. It's interesting. Okay? Does the perception provide additional motivation to work at a higher standard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, we've talked about the collective, the whole, the culture, every one of us, right? Like, we're all on the same page of what we're trying to accomplish, right? So what about you as the individual? Elizabeth, why do you matter here? And how do you feel like you matter? Elena, why do you matter here in this building? Can I talk about that a little bit? Sure. Can this be the last 30 minutes of our time coaching to you specifically? So, what I'm going to attempt to do is talk about one of the aspects of a culture and bring in the whole concept of not music necessarily, but sound. Okay? This is an interesting way. I'm going to try to put a nice pretty bow on this, okay? So bear with me, all right? Okay. Who knows what the international standard pitch is? First of all, who's musicians in the room? We got one. David, don't you just be bashful. Put that hand up. You did this. That was weak, man. There it is. Okay, who knows how to play the iPod? And that's about the extent. Yeah, about the extent for you?
I play the stereo.
You play the stereo? Awesome. So I know Charles here is a music. Sorry, that's my.
I'm a hillbilly.
You're a
I got
hillbilly?
educated on my front porch, not through musical. I don't know anything real.
Is he not your drummer? Because that's all we're missing in this office.
I know, we
full band.
need a drummer. If we can get a full band together maybe at the next Christmas party, we can rock out, okay? So what is international standard pitch? What does that mean? Anybody? International standard pitch is A440. Okay? Does that make sense? So what does that mean? So the A note, no idea? Perfect. I love it. Bunch of noobs.
Is that a jet?
It's close. Okay, so here's what happens. So the international standard pitch is A440. What that means is that the A note technically vibrates 440 times per second in your eardrum. Okay? So when that A note is hit, what happens is you hear it 440 times per second. So if you're not technically savvy, a tone that is an A note is 444 hertz. What it does is it moves invisible airwaves, and then once it hits your sensory nerve, then the auditory nerve inside your eardrum says, oh, that's an A. Okay? So here's the deal. How did we get to this being the international standard? Anybody?
No idea.
Great. Sure.
I think the president of the internet.
I'm gonna tell you, and you might retract that statement about how this all came down to. So basically, what really happens is that your eardrum comes into agreement with the airwaves, and it makes sense. It not only makes sense up here in the logical aspects, but it starts to make sense here, right? Who's ever been in a symphony? You just close your eyes or you just listen to music and it really can move you, right? So did you know that lower notes on the sound spectrum, if I were to put a 30-watt generator, a 30-watt amp with a tone generator, and I went low enough on the spectrum, on the scale, and I could hit that note, you actually wouldn't necessarily even hear it because it registers lower on your human ear that you couldn't hear it, but it would move the foundation of this building. Wow. It would also stop your heart. That's why when you hear those lower notes, like those bass, it's like, right? So there's that aspect where it comes into agreement with how you're made. Now that's called subsonic tones, okay? Ultrasonic is 700 times past what's capable of being heard. Like, when you hear those high shriek, what's the first thing you guys do? It could literally, if you hit a tone high enough, it literally can melt the insides of your brain.
That's what happens, Jim.
That's what happens, Jim. Right?
I resemble that remark.
So what happens is when it goes past that 700 times second, 700 times the scale, it's no longer measured in hertz. It's measured in nanometers or nanoseconds, which is how we measure light. So what's interesting is sound and light are the exact same thing. They're just different frequencies. So physicists will tell you, like, you know, we start talking about like nanoparticles and all that stuff. What that is it's hypersonic sound that you just can't see it anymore. Anybody know what simple harmonic motion is? I'm going all crazy on you today. I'm going to put a bow on this, I promise. So what happens, anybody sat in an airplane? So when the jet engines rev up, you've got constraints, you've got barriers, you've got these sounds going through here. Well, as those pistons start to flutter back and forth, what happens to get the thrust needed, it has to meet a maximum where it's just like the piston in their side is floating. It's not going up and down to generate thrust. Remember when they, okay, you hear that? What that does is once it hits the maximum effort for thrust, it hits simple harmonic motion. So we're doing a lot of stuff with curves. Remember Marty talked about the ambiverts and all the curves and aspects? Well, this plays into that. And here's the reality of the tone that's generated, all that stuff. I want you to hear a few different things. That's why I brought my guitar today, okay?
Can you have them play too?
Well, try.
Sing?
So this, that's an A note, okay? So that's an A chord. Here's a variation. It's all the same thing. You hear it? Okay? So that's international standard pitch at A440. Now here's the funny thing that we've discovered about A440. It's actually harmful. It's harmful to the molecular and cellular structure of our bodies. First of all, anybody heard Britney Spears not auto-tune? She's singing A440, but it's harmful, right? Now, this doesn't necessarily sound harmful, but your body and your cells are actually made to hear A432. Okay? So just bear with me. I'm going somewhere with this. A432, you just drop and recalibrate just a little bit, and it actually creates a greater connection. So here's the question. If I'm to change the tune of this instrument, will it actually make that? I want you to really try really hard to listen, okay? So we know, sounds pretty, right? So I'm going to change the tuning. Hear how it's more fuller? You see that? So what's happening is that as I change the tune just a little bit, it creates greater resonation inside the instrument. Okay? So, in 1951, Rockefellers and the Nazi Party, they kind of got into cahoots, and there is at that point that they created the International Standard Pitch. So what happens, what we've discovered, is that Joseph Haydn, he's the father of the modern symphony, and how he figured out how to get the right tuning of the orchestra, all the instruments coming together, he would take the violin and he would put the bow and the string together, and he would just, as he was tuning it up and down, there was no tuning forks at that point. He would wait until that tone started to reverberate, and then he said, there it is. And so if you look at his symphonies, that's how it was at 432, not 440. So as the agreement of the instruments came together, the one individual had to set that tone. You see how this plays into culture? So somebody's setting the tone here for you guys to come into agreement, into alignment with. Now what's interesting about the way music is written is that the Human Genome Project, you ever heard of that? Where they tried to decode DNA? Your DNA is written exactly like musical notation. So if I'm to dissect Tripp's DNA, and I look at it, it would literally play out like a song. So that gives the individuality an aspect as being a part of the culture. See, what Trip brings to the table is very different than what Glenn brings to the table. What Bob brings to the table is very, very different than what Jim brings to the table. But together, it produces a really amazing thing. Let that sink in. That's really cool. Is there some freedom in that? To find some capacity that you don't have to do it according to what everybody else is doing? That in this business, you actually get to find your own way of expressing the connection that you want to create with your clientele. How about playing this out in our families? How does this look? It's really, really different. So I'm wanting to create capacity and space within inside of yourselves that it's okay to be you. In fact, do the planet a favor and be you. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, or mirror somebody like your mom always said. Why aren't you not more like your brother? Why can't you be more like your sister? Let it go. Find capacity. Find your song and create it. Because it's the business of what we do. If we trade in the currency of communication, what's my voice? Is my voice an instrument?
Yes.
So what if I change my tune just a little bit? Is that a lot more pleasant to the sound of the people that I'm trying to connect with? What does that look like? Sorry, I told you I was reflective today. I'm not trying to be a heavy, but like this really just hit me. This guy's, when I read the culture aspect, every single one of you have a way to connect and to communicate. And what if you've been playing at A440, because that is the international standard, and we're discovering that, man, it's not quite what it needs to be. Where do you need to change your tune? Where? How? Nancy?
I think it's listening for and looking for that place of resonance.
Okay.
Where it finally feels like it's starting to line everything up.
Awesome. See, here's what I've discovered. Remember I told you we really sell a feeling? So the more you feel, do you feel more inspired to then create?
Yeah. Yes.
The more that you're like opened up, you've created capacity, is there a lot more room for inspiration? So here's a real interesting thing, okay? 440 is divisible by 2, right? Okay? Simple prime numbers, all that stuff. 2, the representation of the number 2, especially in the music world, is what it does is it actually carries tension, division, strife, competition. It's just like constantly like trying to feel like you're in survival mode all the time. You know what's interesting about A432? So this is divisible by 3. Okay, 3 representing harmony, agreement, alignment. Our music people in the room, the 135, what's that? It's a chord, right? You play those notes on the piano or on the guitar. It's the fullness. You ever heard a chord of 3 strands is not easily broken, right? What's one of the biggest models in the MREA? What's that? Kinda, sorta. Right? What's the strongest architectural design? Anything triangular, right? You know what's also interesting? Remember sound and light being the same thing? What's the speed of light?
186,000 miles a second.
186,686 miles per second.
Thank you, Carrie.
What's the square root of the speed of light?
Carrie, no pressure.
No pressure.
432. So if like I said, you trade in the currency of sound and what comes out of your voice, what little tiny changes do you need to make? Who wants to be operating, well, I don't know about the speed of light, that's kind of crazy, but like with lightning fast results. right? Who wants to sit around and wait? None of us. But guys, you have the capacity within yourselves to make those little adjustments.
You're rolling, man.
Man, you're on it today.
You're on fire.
So, where is there disharmony? Where is there not unity? Where is there not agreement in what you're saying, okay? So here's some questions. I really want you to take some time and write these down. I don't do this for me, I'm here for you guys, okay? We've talked about culture as the collective whole, what makes it up, but you make it up, because you matter. And so if we're always so focused on the collective but not really taking care of us, then you're really doing the collective a disservice. Okay? So here's a question, is what in your life do you need to change as far as your tuning? Maybe it's what we say with our clients. You know what? Guys, this is a script. Paper or plastic? Would you like ketchup with that? So we talk about scripts and the things that we internalize. I would rather talk about like 29.8% in Bonnie Bray as opposed to paper or plastic because it pays better. Where are you lacking? Okay? What in your business or your life needs a recalibration? What areas in your life or business need a realignment so that the texture of what you say will be different? Notice, remember I played the guitar at the standard tuning and then I changed it a little bit? It was a texture, it was a fuller sound. Here's another question. Do you understand where you fit into our culture? Locally, here, at this market center. And then the last one, are you consistent in your tune with yourself, your family, your friends, and your clients? All right, I've got 12 minutes left. I want to hear your feedback. What's hitting you? What are you feeling? What's going on? I told you this is personal development day, okay? Yeah.
Well, I just keep thinking, coming from a music background, that there's always those people who can hear a complete song off tune and never get it. So, you don't hire them to join your band.
Nope.
So there's, even though you could be on, you're always going to run into people that just don't get it.
Yeah.
So you just move on.
Yeah. Good. Awesome.
I have two. One is maybe more spiritual, but you need to love yourself. And you can't fall in love with anything or anybody until you love your own self.
It's true.
I mean, and not you're kidding yourself. And number two, I like this one as I say to someone when you're down, you're already enough. You're already enough. You don't have to remake yourself. You're already enough.
Yeah. Good. Awesome. Yeah.
I read a book yesterday, my son, and I really like the phrase out of it. It's called Dress Can't Dance. And there's a part
That sounds awesome,
yeah.
man.
And there's a little phrase in there that says, everything can make music if you really wanted to. I think that's kind of applies.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. Can I tell you my favorite book that I read to my kids? It's called My Dad is Awesome. Best book out there. You don't have it, get it. True story.
Yeah, that one's still in the family.
Yeah.
He still reads it.
I still read it.
It's an affirmation.
It is. My dad is awesome. What else? And you can sing. Purple rain, purple rain. What else?
I think that what hits me is just not to compare.
Yeah.
Like too often we just compare, well, she's doing that or he's doing that or, and it's like we just really have to run our lane and be our own people. So I have a little hard one not to like live up to. So that's what hits me.
I'm just reminded of that when doing like vocal music, when you're doing parts, trying to memorize your part regardless of how you think it sounds.
Mhm.
Because then when it comes together,
Yeah.
it's this beautiful thing, but trusting that process of this is the line that I need to know.
Yeah.
So that internal confidence
Right.
is really
Yeah.
important.
Guys, truthfully, the way we compare this is I look at you guys like an orchestra. I've got my flautist over here and my oboe player and, the timpani, but it's everybody's this individual aspect, but then that togetherness really creates, with these A432 tunings and all that stuff, and some of these symphonies, it's recorded that there are those who are so in tune to music. There's a lot more people musically inclined or less musically inclined than those that are, okay? That's just the reality of the world we live in. But what will happen is that when the crescendo of these orchestras hit, at A432 tunings, people start to see different colors. They'll physically see light at bending at different wavelengths, and it causes them to see new colors. And so as we're out there, as we're doing the stuff that we're doing in the real estate community, in the business world, together, creating this massive wave, it's going to cause people to be like, whoa, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on over there? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I just want to say there's a phrase that always comes to my mind that I heard a long time ago that singers, when I'm referring to like realtors, singers are a dime a dozen, but true entertainers are hard to come by.
Sure.
So, I'd rather be a complete entertainer than just a singer, because everybody can sing.
Is she? Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. She has to say that. She's family.
I just would say that I think that what I'm impressed by with like music is music reaches everyone, and it doesn't matter what your background or whatever, but music can move people, and true big entertainers that are, they can reach everybody, doesn't matter where you are, and it's through music, because that's a real big common for all walks of life.
Interesting. What do you think? Curious.
So many things. Can't put it together yet.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. What about you, Kristen?
I'm on Jim's thought, thinking about Prince, obviously, who just died, that he reached so many people, not only other musicians, but people that didn't listen to that type of music, because his music was such an eclectic collection of so many different kinds of music,
Yeah.
that he reached a lot of different people.
Cool. Guys, that's all I have. I told you this was going to be personal development. I hope I put a bow on it to tie this into how to go sell something, okay? I just really believe in you guys. And, with the passing of close friend, just caused me to be really reflective over the weekend. And I hope this isn't a Debbie Downer, like a heavy, okay? I want this to create capacity inside of you guys of how you might need to change your tune this week, what you might need to be saying differently to your clients, to your family, to your friends, to each other, okay? So I believe in you. I'm so glad you're part of our culture. Thanks for seeing the intangibles and making it great with who you are and your contribution, okay? Glenn, were you going to say something?
I was going to throw a little different twist on it. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. Okay. But if I sing in a group, nobody hears me.
Yeah.
I mean, a group sounds good a lot of times
Yeah.
when there's not a lot of good singers.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes into the culture. singer, but we've got everybody else behind us that kind of makes it sound good.
Cool. Love it. Awesome. All right, Peggy? That's right, yeah. We're not.
We're all in it together.
Good, interdependency. Yep. Love it.
You never mentioned this, but I'm gonna throw it out to the group. And, that is, yesterday, I think what got this listing and this sale is, these people had talked to a couple of the realtors, and they said, what separates you, this Keller Williams? And I went way back to the book, to the Red Book, and to Gary Keller, at Mega Camp. And I said, our order was we believe in God, then family, and then the business. And I believe that with my heart. And that really set us apart. Right there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying whether you believe that or not, I believe it.
Yeah.
And I believe it big, but that was a big, and it was easy for me to say, and I could say it with conviction.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Okay, you're out of here 4 minutes early. Thanks for entertaining me. Appreciate that.